In today's video, we are going to make a block out of this book here. I'm not sponsored. This is just a book that I found on clearance somewhere and it caught my eye and I thought there were some fun blocks. Yeah, so it's got a lot of blocks. There's 110 ones in here. And today we are going to be making this block. Can you see that? Now, in the book, this is called Nelson's Victory, and I'm sure that there's probably other other names for it. But according to this, I just went with what it was named in there because I don't know what names are. I don't roll like that. I just kind of do whatever. But anyway, I'm going to teach you everything that you need and everything that I did to make this block. Go ahead and grab all your sewing tools and let's get to it. It is called the new Quick and Easy Block Tool, and it is packed with hints, tips, and tricks. Y'all know how much I like that kind of thing. There's a lot of pages that I have tabbed because there's a lot of blocks that I wanted to try, but the one today is called Nelson's Victory. And in this book, it actually breaks down exactly what you need, exactly the material you need, the layout of the blocks, how many colors that you need. It's very informative, and I think that it's just really easy to understand. But today we're going to do this block, and I'm using 3 different fabrics for this. Actually, the pattern says to use 3 different fabrics, but of course, because this is my channel, I like to do things a little bit differently. So I went to my fabric stash, pulled out some fabrics that I thought might work out together, and decided on these fabrics at the end of my selection process. That green one just didn't work out, but once I got my fabrics together, went ahead and cut everything down. What I'm cutting all of my squares to, according to the pattern, is 3.5-inch squares for the solid ones. Now we are also going to be doing some half square triangles, and for those, I'm actually making those squares bigger, and I will show you the difference in size once I get to that part. I'm spending some time in the beginning of this video just to show you how I cut my squares and cut everything for this particular block. Cutting is so important in the quilting world and in the quilting. When you're making fancy quilt blocks such as this, I call this fancy because everything that I usually do is just straight up squares. But if you're making fancy blocks like this, then it's super important to make sure that everything is cut out accurately. Normally with squares, you've got a little bit of leeway if you're not super particular, which I am not. But on this one, I did spend quite a bit of time making sure that everything was cut accurately. If you do want to jump ahead and start into the construction of the block where I start with the half square triangles, then feel free to skip to about 3:19 in the video. I decided to mix up the light colored fabrics in this block because I just had some scraps that have been hanging around and I just wanted to be a little different because, I just like that scrappy kind of look with basically everything that I make. So for the half square triangles, you're going to end up needing 4 total for this block. Now, I actually ended up making 8 when I only needed 4, which is fine because I can use those for something else. But eventually, and essentially, you're only going to need 4. But when you're making your half square triangles, what I like to do is I put right sides together and I make a line with my favorite marking tool, which is this pen that erases with heat. I make a mark right down the center of my block. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be sewing a 1/4 inch seam on both sides of that line. We're going to set up all of our squares like this so then we can go to the sewing machine. But yeah, once you get all of them marked, like I said, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and take it to your machine and you're going to sew a 1/4 inch on both sides of that line. So we'll go ahead and take all 4 of these over and we will get those sewn. Now on my machine, I'm using a walking foot because it works out really well when you're quilting, but on my particular machine, a 1/4 inch seam allowance is on this edge of my foot. So I'm going to line that center line that I marked on that edge of my foot and just kind of follow the line. Now, I don't have like a special table or anything for my machine. It was a hand-me-down, so I got very minimal tools whenever I did receive it. So I do my best with what I've got. Once you get to the end, what I do is I like to keep everything together, and I'm going to go ahead and turn all 4 of my squares around and do the exact same thing on the other side. Now we get to the point where, of course, sewing machines sometimes have a mind of their own. So I was just sewing along and it just stopped. Okay, I have no idea what just happened. Literally, have no idea what just happened. You saw me sewing. Why did it break? Okay. Yeah, I have no idea. No idea why the thread just decided to break. It's not old thread. It's really not that old, but once I got everything changed up, I checked my bobbin, rethreaded everything, and got it back to where it needed to be. Then I decided to carry on back to what I was doing before everything went awry. Again, that's just a normal Festina kind of video where something goes crazy. Now, once you've got everything sewn, you're going to take it back to your sewing mat. And I just want to say that if you've seen any of my other videos, I got a new sewing mat for my birthday. My birthday was a couple weeks ago. Actually, my birthday was last week, not a couple weeks, but I got a new cutting mat for my birthday and I am so excited. It is such an upgrade. What I like to do is line them all 4 together, and then I can take my ruler and just kind of slice them all at once to where I'm not doing a whole bunch of cuts. So if you get them lined up just nice and neat, get your ruler and you can just go right down the middle and give it a nice cut. It may get a little thick there where they're layered, but it really makes things nice and easy. So now I have my half square triangles, just like that, one light and one medium color. And yeah, again, for this block, you're only going to need 4 of these. So what I decided to do was I used 2 yellow and 2 orange. But you could use 4 of the same color. You could switch it up and do different colors, whatever you'd like to do. Now, I was originally going to just finger press all of these, and I was just going to take my fingers and just kind of do that thing. But I thought, we're going to try to be accurate. We're going to try to do it the correct way. So I did get my iron out, my new mini iron. See that? So I got a new iron for Christmas, actually. I have used that other baby iron for a while after my first one completely died on me. But my husband actually surprised me and he got me an Oliso. I don't know how you say it. But I've been eyeballing one of these little mini irons for a long time. And he said, you know what? Merry Christmas. So here's my new iron and I love it. So it heats up so quickly. I am not sponsored by them, but it's just a fun time. And what you're going to do when you're ironing is you want to go ahead and make sure that you're ironing your seam towards the darker side of fabric. That way it won't be seen whenever you assemble your block. And what I'm doing here is I'm trimming my half square triangles to the appropriate size that it needs to be for the block, which all of the squares that are going to be combined for this are 3.5 inches squares. Now starts the fun part. We start assembling the block and seeing where everything is going to lay. And with me having such a strong background in jigsaw puzzles, this is probably my favorite part. Of course, to make sure that I had the block assembled correctly, I had my book over to the side just to make sure. And this is the spot where I figured out, oh, I have 4 extra half square triangles that I'm not going to need. So we're just going to put those to the side. And I'm like, oh, well, I could switch it out a different way, or I could just do it this way. So this is what I decided to do, like this. And I actually played with the layout on this a little bit, switched out some colors to see what I liked best and just to kind of see how it looked. But yeah, I'm sure when you switch out things too much, you just end up with a different type of block, which, is fine. But for my particular one, and to follow the instructions in the book, I went ahead and switched it back and left this as my final layout. Now, the way that we're going to assemble this is we're going to take the top one and we're going to attach it to the one right there. And we're going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance right down the side. And we're going to do that for all of the ones in these first 2 rows. So we're just going to go ahead and lay those and then give them a little clip. You can use clips or pins. Clips are my favorite because they're easy. And we're going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way down. Now, for some reason, and I don't know what I was doing, but I somehow sewed things backwards. When I got everything back to my cutting table, I was like, what in the world did I do? But yeah, those 2 in the middle got twisted. So normally when you do this method, you would leave everything together, but I had to cut all of mine apart, which is fine. Everything will make sense in a minute. So now we're just going to go ahead and take our 3rd row and attach it to the 2 that we've already completed, also with another 1/4 inch seam allowance. Once we do that, we'll go ahead and do the exact same thing with the last row. Clip those together, and we're going to sew all of that to our existing pieces with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now, once you get all of that done, you can lay everything out, and this is what you should have. Everything looks nice and in line as it should. Now we're going to do our little seam dance. I've done this in a previous video, and what we're going to do is we are going to press our seams in opposite directions so that they lay flat. The nested seams are going to help line up all of the corners and all of the intersections so that your block is nice and neat. So on the first row, I pressed them to my right. So then the next row, I pressed it to my left. And then I went to put clips on all of the intersections so that everything is nice and neat. And I just go through at each intersection on each row. I try to take my time. Sometimes it just doesn't work out that way, but I try to take my time and just make sure that everything is laying correctly and that everything is looking how it needs to look. Now, once you get done clipping or pinning all of your intersections, you're going to go back to your machine and you're going to go ahead and each one of those rows you are going to sew with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And once you get done with that, you have a completed block. And I think that looks pretty accurate to what was in the book. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my machine and give everything a nice good press. Now, you could press your seams open on this. I'm actually just pressing mine to whatever side it looks like that they fit on. Sometimes the seams will tell you where they want to lay and sometimes they don't, but usually most of the time they're going to lay in one way or another. Once you get done with that, now you have your completed block, and I think that's pretty fun. Leave me a comment if you have any questions, and I appreciate you watching this video. I will see you next time on the next sewing tutorial. See ya!